It's a great question. It's the number one question I've been asked over the past 3 or 4 months is what do I do? How do I prioritize my next steps and where do I go? And it's interesting because I've realized over the past few months that my answer actually hasn't changed from 2018 to 2019 to 2020. I think it's critical for brands to remain consumer centric and to keep a pulse on the consumer. And really the only way to do that is to have access to the right data in which to understand what they're thinking, feeling, how they feel about you, how they feel about what's going on, and then ultimately prepare the brands to take a stance. And what was interesting for those of you who joined my talk on Monday, I had spoken about the fact that some research from Edelman just came out that 62% of consumers agree that our world won't make it through this crisis without brands playing a critical role. And so there is this sort of desire from your consumer for you to take action and to take an active role in this space. But you have to understand kind of what they're thinking and feeling. And again, that comes back to data. And so the way I like to think about enablers of data is I call it the 3 Ps. There's people, process, and platforms. And so the first is, do you have the people in place to crunch the data? And then do you have what I like to call data translators? So people who can then speak the nerd speak back to the business stakeholders and to the brands so that they can better action on that data. The second piece around process, anyone who's ever launched a campaign in digital or anywhere for that matter knows that the devil is in the details. And so you really, really need to have a solid process in place for which to share data, for which to analyze it, and ultimately activate it in the market. And then when thinking about platforms, less is more. So I have some brands who are invested in 10, 15 different platforms. We tend to call that a Frankenstack at Google, where you're trying to plug into all these different players, get their point player ideas, but then it's really hard to come up with a holistic understanding of what the consumer is thinking and feeling because you're spread too thin. And so my recommendation there is to really try to consolidate against fewer tech players, fewer platforms, so that you can really maximize the impact that you have. And again, I sound like a broken record because I've been saying the same thing for a couple of years now. But I think as you navigate crisis, data is the key thing you need to do that. And those are the enablers to help you get there.